Welcome to UWS Weekly, a show that is dedicated to covering United Women's Soccer, a national pro-am league with your host, Jonathan Ward. Each and every week, we will highlight players, supporters, and staff of the clubs we all pride ourselves to support in North America. The UWS is a league that is committed to advancing women's soccer. What's going on, soccer fans? It is a busy night here in the soccer world with the U.S. men's national team playing right now as we speak, and Canada actually about to kick off here in about 30 seconds. But hey, welcome to UWS Weekly, a show that is powered by Reboot Soccer. Check them out at reboot.soccer and dedicated to the best pro-am league in the world, the UWS and UWS League 2. Tonight, I'm excited to have the opportunity to talk to a good friend of mine, Troy Flannery, the head coach of the St. Alberta Impact. Coach, what's going on, my friend? Long time no see.
Hey, John, it's good up here. Just got the game on in the background, and we're ready to go up here in Canada.
See, I can tell from the background of the file cabinet we are in the anthem piece, so we're getting close to kickoff. What excites everybody about Canada going forward? Is there a chance for World Cup dominance this upcoming?
Yeah, absolutely, there is. I think it's one of the best teams we've ever had, if not the best. No disrespect to anybody that has represented the badge prior to this group, but they're a dynamic team. You speak about culture and so forth. They've bought into being a brotherhood, and they're absolutely flying. They're fun to watch, and we're super proud. And, they're piggybacking the success of our women's team as well. So we sort of, we have that double-headed monster right now up here, and we're good.
So speaking of that double-headed monster, I want to actually, before we get into any UWS stuff, I want to ask, what has it been like since that World Cup, or not the World Cup, sorry, the Olympic victory for the Canadian national team's women? What has that been like? What has it done for soccer in Canada?
I think it's excited people. There's proof in the pudding, so to speak, that we can do this. And there's so many good role models on that women's team and so many good stories. And, I'm fortunate to know, a couple of them, or at least one at least, pretty well. And it's inspired the next generation, and hopefully we can use that level of inspiration and so forth for more opportunities. The women will tell you we need a pro league. We need a pro league for Canadian women to play in. And I love the UWS. I love this pro-am league that we have. It's been fantastic and so many positive stories. But now we need that next step. We need a pro league for women so they don't have to go all over the world chasing their dreams. And we want these young women to dare to dream. And I think our women's national team is really inspired. Again, it's not the first time, but again, that young generation that I'm privileged to work with as well. Really, really proud to be Canadian, and really, really proud to be a Canadian footballer right now. It's awesome, both sides.
Well, you go back and you look at the bronze medal that they were able to bring home a few years back, and now to add that gold medal really takes it up a notch and creates a different, I'll say community, but I think it definitely brings a different vibe to the national team scene. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about excellence, and, you can talk about development versus winning and so forth, but obviously at that level, it's about winning. And just to follow it from afar, to see all that's gone into it and see them finally, get what they've been working towards. I'll say it again. It's just incredibly inspiring, and the vibe is super, super positive right now. And in a world that needs good stories, in a world that needs positivity and a good vibe, they've done that.
Well, talking a little bit about that, women needing a pro league in Canada, how important is it going to be for Canada to bring in some possible UWS pro teams to the mix?
It's huge. There's some opportunities that exist here in Canada right now at the pro-am level, and there's a lot of really good work going across the country with respect to regional leagues and League One and so forth. And, there's an initiative to have a coast-to-coast league at the pro-am level, but the next step is that professional level. And I was really excited at the UWS AGM to, finally see those steps come to fruition. And absolutely, I think if you know anything about the two UWS franchises in Canada, being Foothills and Impact, we're all hands on deck. We're all in to bring pro soccer to Canada. It doesn't mean others won't, but I can tell you right now that we're going to do everything that we can to make that happen. It's the timing could not be more perfect for us. And everything we just talked about with respect to national teams and so forth and role models and, that inspiration. So it's super exciting. We're ready to go. I think the time is now. We're ready. We got to do it now. No more of this talk about, well, what about this? What about that? This. And, there's a lot of social media accounts where we talk about things. And I know for a fact we've got some doers right now that are going to make this happen.
So speaking of doers and everything, what were some of the major takeaways that you had from that AGM? I know you and I kind of spoke briefly post AGM, but now having about a week to really dissect and think about it, what were some of those major takeaways that you had?
I think I'd start with the UWS Pro piece. That was really exciting. And I think just the growth of the league and UWS, the brand, the growth of the brand, the UWS2 brand, seeing the people that have been there from day one, and then the addition of new people and initiatives, the DEI piece is absolutely massive. And, the opportunities that we need to create for all walks of life. And I thought the AGM, and I've been to every one, attended every one, had by far the most professionalism to it with respect to the things that we're trying to do. It's no longer just about talking about your schedule and these minimum standards. It's strategic, it's big picture, and it's, everything from inclusion to pro soccer to diversity and equality and so forth. And that rang really true at the AGM. You could hear that loud and clear. And I think the passionate delivery of such initiatives and the response to the initiatives was really positive. I think the UWS has been strategic in where it's going. It's been strategic with respect to the timing of things, and it's been really strategic with respect to its partners. And we've established, I'll say we as UWS, we've established some really quality partners that are doing this for the right reason. And that's super important because there's a lot of things in life where it's not necessarily for the right reason.
I think one of the biggest things that are going to come from the AGM was the new position for Jeremy Sampson, who comes in from Lansing United and takes on the role of director of operations. I think that's a key component, seeing that now we have somebody in a position to kind of, I guess, I don't want to say police, but definitely make sure that Saturdays are a little bit more smoother. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a logical next step. I thought the addition a couple of years ago of Stephanie as the executive director to support Joe and Roberto and everybody in Francisco. And now the next step is that operational level, to have operational excellence. If you're going to talk about having UWS2 and UWS and add that top of that pyramid with respect to UWS Pro, you need operational excellence. And in order to have that, you have to have accountability, obviously. And certainly, I don't know him personally, but all signs suggest that we have some accountability there with respect to operational excellence.
And I think we'll have that, and I'm excited to see how this year works when Jeremy is in charge there. Hey, Coach, let's talk a little bit culture in the room. About a year ago, I had a scarf just show up randomly for Impact, and I'm curious, what's the culture been like at the club? How has it grown since year one?
This place is special. Culture is it's a great word. And how I describe our culture here, it's been family. Our very first event, and I've spoken about this in the past. I don't know the exact number, but 750 at least here on the upper deck and the lower stands, and just the walkout. I'll never forget just the vibe that day, and every single person here, regardless of your affiliation was Impact or something else in the region. Thought it was a spectacular event, a spectacular showcase for women. The opposition on the day, Foothills, Lee Tucker will tell you that as well. It was just a special day. And I think that's carried on. People were really excited about what they saw. They were also really disappointed that we only had that one home day. So everybody's really excited about the opportunity that exists this year, but culturally, it's spread like wildfire. People now know what UWS is in the region. I have people coast to coast. It's that time of year reaching out, university coaches. Hey, so and so would really like to play at the next level. Could you have an opportunity for her at UWS? And that's the first time. I think years ago when we first started this down in Calgary, we were having to do a sell job, so to speak, and doing a lot of explaining about what the acronym was and what it is and why. People know it now. It's become a brand. And culturally, here, it's been about family, and we build it as we're the little guys here. We want to go after it, and we have an inspired culture. And just even looking at the team that we put together, some of them didn't know one another. A lot of the local players did, but we added some players from afar into the group, and just following their university careers or their pro careers on social media. They all keep tabs on one another. We became a really, really tight-knit group really quick. And I think it stemmed from that day one, and all those people here. I can't even describe it. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience, an amazing event, and really looking forward to the next steps for the organization here and what's next.
From the videos that you sent me and I was able to kind of witness, it seemed like it was a great atmosphere, and people really, I won't say buy in because it didn't take much to have people to buy in, but definitely seemed like people want more as it relates to Impact and even Foothills, and it's only going to get bigger from here, Coach. What's the idea of the mission and the vision of the club? Obviously, year one wasn't what was expected, at least what you and I had talked about. But what is the mission and vision? How has it changed since our first conversation last March?
I don't know if it's changed too much. It's about that opportunity for women. I said from day one when I came here, this has never been about me. This is about providing that platform, that opportunity for the women's game, for women players, women leaders, women coaches, women in the administrative that want to get into, managing a franchise such as this. I'm proud to say that in this organization, St. Albert Soccer Association, we have 3 full-time soccer specific staff, and 2 of the 3 are women. And, part of this UWS platform is something for everyone to aspire for. It's not just the players. And, I think the whole mission is one word: it's opportunity. We have a couple players playing overseas and in France that we're really proud of. We had a minuscule role in that. Obviously, they're good players and they've got their agents and whatnot, but they needed a home prior to that. We have this young woman that trained with us. I don't think she missed a session. She just wanted to train with us. She said, "I'll be the 3rd string goalkeeper. Whatever you need, I'll do." And I absolutely adore this lady, and she's playing in Portugal now, professional soccer. Like, there's so many stories, and everybody that played from a university team went back to their universities and literally had career years. It's an opportunity to play at a really, really high standard. McEwen, the local university here, where Dean Cordero coaches, who supplied so many players to this franchise, they won a national championship. It pains me to say it because I coach against them, but we had 6, 7, 8 of those young women training and playing with us, and they're national champions. And I think, this platform plays a little bit of a role in that, going to California and playing Uncle Carlos and the Crackerjack teams that he puts together. We don't have that here. And the rivalry with Foothills down Highway 2, this is a big, big opportunity, and it's so deserved. And, I think my mission personally, Troy Flannery, I step away from all this and I look at it. I want more and more and more of this. And I want this coast to coast, and I want the next level above it. And I want this to help us get professional soccer for women. That's the mission.
Yeah, you talk about that Western Conference. You add LASC, the Los Angeles Soccer Club, this coming year, along with Congo and Santa Clarita Blue Heat and Foothills. It's going to be a really tough conference, Coach, and especially if the border is able to be a little bit more open so teams can come visit and play up there. Can we anticipate that this coming season, or is it just a wait and see at this point? I know there's a lot that needs to change first.
I'm super optimistic. I think all signs point towards the fact that we'll be fine. And obviously, we traveled last year. It was an extremely expensive trip, and that's well documented. Our 20 plus hours to get to Los Angeles, and the conference is incredible. Santa Clarita is an exceptional team. I keep seeing these announcements on social media, and you look and you're like, oh, great, UCLA, Stanford, oh, awesome, X Pro, this, that. And I think when we first started this, I know years ago, it's probably a little bit intimidated and I was afraid of that. Now I want more. Like, keep doing it, keep signing these big names, these great players. That's about opportunity. And I know, Congo, similar to us last year, you can talk about what the expectations are and you can tell your players and your supporters and your board, but then it gets real as soon as you step on the pitch and, they're back and they know what the level is now, as do we. Foothills gave it a right go last year down to the wire with Santa Clarita. And if you have a new franchise in Los Angeles, as we do, Los Angeles, a lot of really, really good footballers there and a lot of good infrastructure there. So this conference, no disrespect to the rest of the league, the West Conference will always represent front foot, as you know I like to say.
That's right. Hashtag front foot football, coach. Year one obviously did not end the way that you, I think, envisioned. Maybe it did, but knowing you, I think there were some things that were great that came from the season, but also things that you look forward to working with this season. Describe year one. What was it like working with the club? Obviously, coming from Foothills to Impact, but what was the biggest takeaway, and how do you improve off that year?
I think it was an introduction, year one. It was an introduction to the level. It was an introduction on how to host an event. I think we passed that with flying colors. I think we hosted possibly the best event in the conference, if not the league, last year. I know I'm biased because I was here and not everybody was, but it was a spectacular event. And I think it was an introduction to the players about what the standard is. I knew the standard and I could talk about it till I'm blue in the face. And I remember having countless meetings in this office with staff and so forth, introducing the standard and talking to players. But then, once you see it, then it's like, oh, okay, now we get it. And I think, that first match against Foothills was special. We got a result that day. It wasn't a beautiful game per se, lots of emotion. It was more about the event that day. Then we learned a couple lessons and then we finished strong again. It was such a tough year. It was hurry up and wait, hurry up to put this together, then wait and wait and wait because of the border restrictions and so forth. And no excuses. We're all in the same boat, but losing players back to university, rightly so, and some players leaving early to pursue opportunities overseas, which is what this is for. I think going into year two, the Impact franchise has a very clear understanding about what the expectations are on and off the field. And the Impact franchise is exceptionally ambitious and will pursue what everybody would think that I would want to pursue from day one. And we're going to do those things here. And this club is ready to go, is excited to go, and has too much support to have many excuses.
Well, year two kicks off here in a few months, Coach. What does year two look like, and what are some of the things that may be done differently, or what is the expectation for year two?
Yeah, I think some things done differently. We'll start a little bit earlier. We'll have a preseason schedule so we can play some games. We'll be permitted to do so this year. We weren't permitted to do that last year. Currently we're just starting a bit earlier. We're soliciting names from those that have reached out from across the country at the U Sport level. We have our core, we have our pool of players, and we're going to put together a team based on our strengths of last year. And we're going to address some of the areas that we thought we needed to improve in. And we're doing that now. We've got staff working on it here at the club, and we'll have some exciting announcements and some staffing announcements and so forth. But I think the difference between this year and last year is starting a bit early, not chasing it a little bit. And then last year was, start, pause, start, pause, start, pause, because we had to keep hitting reset. And at times I remember thinking as though you didn't want to be lying to players. You didn't want to hold anybody back and keep them here if they had other opportunities. So this year, we can be really optimistic with the fact we're a go, and we can really be bolder and braver with what we put together on and off the field.
There's more to Impact than just the UWS side, obviously. What are some of the opportunities going forward for some of the youth who are involved in the programs?
Yeah, we're a big organization here, and we have everything from grassroots to senior men's and women's teams. And as this UWS initiative has grown here, and as it's become more familiar and part of the Impact family and so forth, you'll see opportunities for our young players to gather with our UWS players, and the opportunities via our academy or coaching or running some UWS camps and so forth, and also looking to partner within the region with other organizations that recognize the opportunity here and the value of the UWS brand. So, if you're a young aspiring player, you don't necessarily have to play for Impact. This is sort of the top of the pyramid here right now for women, but we're going to do things in the community and the region to allow people to experience what we're doing with respect to the coaching piece and access to players and so forth in the form of camps and guest appearances, and just really drum up a professional standard.
Coach, are you going to be doing tryouts or anything like that for players this year, or is it essentially going to be invite?
Yeah, that's a great question. Generally, we put this together based on invite, and we'll have a core announced through invites, just through our network, and players that we know or come highly recommended, and players that we know through the university leagues and so forth. And then obviously there's players that we don't know. We don't want to close the door on the opportunity. Opportunity, like I said, is a big part of the mission. So, we'll announce, similar to what we did last year, a core, and then we'll keep some spots open for those that would like to. I think the term that we would probably use in other sports is that walk-on tryout piece. So we'll have a core, and we'll keep some roster spots open. And for those that we don't know, we'll be invited into training and training camp, and we'll assess based on the quality that we have, and be forthright and honest about whether or not there's an opportunity here. Worst case scenario, we provide training opportunities. Best case scenario, you get into the 18, you play, you travel, and you go after it.
Coach, the community up there loves their soccer or their football for Impact. What was the community like this year, and how has it only gotten bigger since the first game?
I think just like similar to what I said earlier, just the understanding of what it is. And you're looking at all these players that we had that have moved on and have had stellar seasons, or in Europe right now, or you look at the players that were drafted from our league into the NWSL, or the players from our conference that were drafted, and just really the advocacy that this league has provided for women at this level. I think people are starting to follow and pick up on and capture. It doesn't seem very difficult to talk about this right now. And I think when I first started, it was more difficult. People are like, well, what's going on? And I know there's other opportunities that have crept up, which is a positive thing, but the fact that there's two franchises here in this region, I think, help as well. People tweet and talk about that Classica and so forth, and it's really exciting, and I think it's deserved. I think the women involved here deserve the press, and we're getting press now. Year one, I had to email people and chase. We'd have meetings. You got to get a hold of this newspaper, this TV person. It's like always explaining what it is. I'd get the acronym wrong. Like, it was never UWS. It was this or it was that. I can't even remember. And you're always educating. Right now, people are coming to us and they're asking us about it. And we're not soliciting the press right now or the coverage. They're coming to us. So that's changed. I think people just want to see this. They want their home game. Somebody tweeted at us the other day, my season ticket got me one home game last year. So they want more. And whenever people want more, that's a good thing. So we're going to give them more.
You can't complain about that if people are wanting more soccer and they're willing to help the community grow. Coach, I really appreciate you taking the time this evening to join me. I know the game behind you or in front of you has your attention as well right now as Canada tries to get a win tonight. Coach, thank you so much.
1-0, baby.
Oh, 1-0 already. Oh, my goodness.
I'm telling you, us Canadians, we don't waste much time. We're coming.
Well, I hope that's the case, Coach. Hey, listen, thank you so much for taking the time to join me this evening. I hope everything is well, and as always, you and I will talk soon, I'm sure.
All right, cheers. I appreciate everything you do.
Cheers, Coach. Thanks for your time. Awesome. Thanks, Coach Flannery, for taking the time this evening. I know he's got training going on in the background there, and he's also watching the game. But it's a great time to have Coach on to talk a little bit about what's happening in Canada. A lot of growth, a lot of opportunity for Canadian youth players to see the advancement of the game up north. Listen, join us next week as we talk with one of the newer clubs of the league in Hotspur. They'll be joining us at 5 p.m. Pacific. Possibly, might change, but pay attention to our social media accounts for more information to make sure we have that time right as we are joined live next week. And then the following week, we're actually going to have Coach Flannery's rival club, Foothills, joining us with Coach Lee Tucker. Until then, everybody, have a great and safe evening. You know, I'd say go to the United States, but they're up, so don't lose that lead. And good luck to Canada. Cheers, everyone.
I'm a part of UWS because of the opportunity it provides women.
Because it provided me the competition and exposure I needed to get to where I am today.
Because financial transparency is important to me.
Because at its core and within its leadership, it is truly dedicated to the promotion of the women's game.
Because of the competitive pathway it provides female players and coaches.
Because it expands the pathway of our club and offers more opportunities for players to develop.
Because I too support women in sports.
Because of the people. I love competing at a high level with some awesome teammates and getting to compete against people around the country.
Because it provides female athletes with a much needed platform to remain in the game in a professional setting.
Because it's the best summer league in the whole country. There's no question about it.
Because of the commitment to diversity for the players, coaches, and administrators of the UWS.
Because I like the opportunity to compete at such a high level and the advancement of the women's game.
I am a part of UWS because I believe in its vision and its leadership.